Good day everyone. I am Maynard Lapus and I am going to discuss to you about Edu 211 Facilitating Learning, topic number 1 Learner Diversity. Our subject is Edu 211 Facilitating Learning. What is facilitating learning? Facilitating came from the Latin word passis, which means easy or easy to do. It also means to make something convenient, easy to manage, or favorable. Facilitating learning is an approach where students are encouraged to take ownership and control of their own learning process. The role of the teacher changes from being the supplier of knowledge to being a facilitator of learning. Eduk 211 Facilitating Learnings, topic to be discussed. Number 1 is learner diversity. Number 2 is learner intelligence and learning style. Number 3 is learning and motivation. Number 4 behaviorism. Number 5 cognitive learning theories. And number 6 is adult learning theories. Topic number 1 learner diversity learning outcomes. Number 1 identify the different factors about the diversity in the classroom. Number 2 demonstrate a positive attitude towards diversity as an enriching element in the learning environment. Number 3 come up with the teaching strategies that consider learner diversity. Advanced organizer. There are three subtopics to be discussed under individual differences or learner diversity. The first one is the individual differences factors. The second one is the benefits of diversity in the classroom. And the third one is the classroom strategies for student diversity. Factors that bring about learner diversity. Number one is the socio-economic status, or the millionaire's lifestyle differs from that of the middle income or lower income group. As a teacher, we need to think of the socio-economic status of our students, especially those who are less fortunate, those students who are living in the remote places of our country, in the mountains or in other islands in which the school is distant from their homes. Sometimes most of them are coming late to the class, or even sometimes they are coming 3 times or twice a week only, or sometimes they are not coming to the school because of their financial difficulties. As a teacher, along with the school administration, we need to think of the alternative strategies of teaching or learning for these students. The second factor that brings about learner diversity is the thinking or learning style. Some of you learn better by seeing something, others by just listening, and others by just manipulating something. Here we will discuss about this category of learning styles and learning intelligence or multiple intelligence. We will give you a detailed explanation of this factor on our next topic. Number 3. Exceptionalities. In class, there may be who has difficulty in spoken language, comprehension or in seeing, hearing, etc. We will discuss more of this factor at the last part of this topic. How learner diversity enriches the learning environment. Student self-awareness is enhanced by their diversity. Number 2, student diversity contributes to cognitive development. Number 3, student diversity prepares learners for their role as responsible members of society. Number 4, student diversity can promote harmony. Some tips on learner diversity. Number 1, encourage learner to share their personal history and experiences. Number 2, integrate learning experiences and activities which promote students' multicultural and cross-cultural awareness. Number 3, aside from highlighting diversity, identify patterns of unity that transcend group differences. Number 4, Communicate high expectations from all subgroup. Number 5. Use varied instructional methods to accommodate students' diversity in learning style. Number 6. Vary the examples you use to illustrate concepts in order to provide multiple contexts that are relevant to students of diverse backgrounds. Number 7. Adapt to the student's diverse background and learning styles by allowing personal choice and decision-making opportunities. Number 8. Diversify your methods of assessing and evaluating student learning. Number 9. Purposely form small discussion groups of students from diverse backgrounds. You can form groups of students with different learning styles, different cultural background, etc. Learning with exceptionalities. Learning outcomes. Define and distinguish the terms disability and handicap. Describe the basic categories of exceptional learners. And number 3, demonstrate people-first language when referring to exceptional learners and advocate for its use. What is learner with exceptionalities? One significant factor that highlights individual differences is the presence of exceptionalities. We commonly refer to learners with exceptionalities as persons who are different in some way from the normal or average. The term exceptional learners includes those with special needs related to cognitive abilities, behavior, social functioning, physical and sensory impairments, emotional disturbances, and giftedness. Most of these learners requires a lot of understanding and patience as well as special education and related services if they are to reach their full potential of development. Difference between disability and handicap. Disability is a measurable impairment of limitation that interfere with a person's ability, for example, to walk, lift, hear, or learn. It may refer to a physical, sensory, or mental condition. Handicap. Word handicap does not have the same meaning as disability. A handicap is a disadvantage that occurs as a result of disability or impairment. The degree of disadvantage or the extent of the handicap is often dependent on the adjustment made by both the person and his environment. Therefore, the extent to which a disability handicaps an individual can vary greatly. Two persons may have the same degree of disability, but not the same degree of being handicapped. For example, both have a hearing impairment, one knows sign language, and can read lips while the other cannot. The first individual will not have as much as handicap as the second one. Categories of exceptionalities, advanced organizer. There are 5 categories of exceptionalities. The first category is the specific cognitive or academic difficulties. The second one is the social or emotional and behavioral difficulties. The third one is the physical disabilities and health impairments. The fourth is the sensory impairments. And the last one is the giftedness. Category number 1, specific cognitive or academic difficulties. There are 3 types of this category. The first one is the learning disabilities. These involve difficulty in specific cognitive processes like perception, memory, or metacognition. Examples are dyslexia or difficulties in reading, dyscalculia or difficulties in number counting, dysgraphia or difficulties in writing. Attention deficit or hyperactivity disorder or ADHD is manifested in their difficulty in focusing and maintaining attention, recurrent hyperactive and impulse behavior or both. Speech and communication disorders, difficulty in spoken language including voice disorders, inability to produce the sounds correctly, stuttering, and difficulty in spoken language comprehension that significantly hamper classroom performance. The second category of exceptionality is the social or emotional and behavioral difficulties. There are 3 types of this category. Letter A is autism. It is condition manifested by different levels of impaired social interaction and communication. Letter B is intellectual disabilities. This refers to a sub-average intelligence in deficits and in adaptive behavior. Letter C is emotional or conduct disorders. This involve the presence of emotional states like depression and aggression over a considerable amount of time that they notably disturb learning and performance in school. The number three category of exceptionalities is the physical disabilities and health impairment. There are two subtypes. There are two types of physical disabilities and health impairments. The first one is the physical and health impairments. These involve physical or long-term medical conditions including one or more of these: limited energy and strength, reduced mental alertness, and little muscle control. Letter B is severe and multiple disabilities. This refers to the presence of two or more types of disabilities at a severe to profound condition. Number 4 category of exceptionalities is the sensory impairments. There are two types of sensory impairments. The first one is the visual impairments. These are conditions when there is malfunction of the eyes of the optic nerves that prevent normal vision even with corrective lenses. The second one is the hearing impairments. These involve malfunction of the ear or auditory nerves that hinders perception of sounds within the frequency range of normal speech. The last category of exceptionalities is the giftedness. These significantly involve high level of cognitive development. There is usually high ability of aptitude in one or more of these aspects. Letter A, intellectual ability. Letter B, aptitude in academic subjects. Letter C, creativity. Letter D, visual. And letter E, performing arts. People first language. This language trend involves person first, not the disability. Example, a person with disability, not a disabled person. Other suggestions for referring to those with disabilities include avoiding generic labels. Example, people with mental retardation is preferable than mentally retarded. Emphasizing abilities, not limitations. For instance, uses a wheelchair is preferable than confined to a wheelchair. Euphemisms, such as physically challenged, which are regarded as condescending and avoid the real issue that result from disability. Implying illness or suffering, had polio is preferable to is a polio victim and has multiple sclerosis is preferable to suffers from multiple sclerosis. Using people language first and applying the guidelines or suggestions presented will remind us to have a more respectful and accepting attitude toward learners with exceptionalities. The presence of impairments requires them to exert more effort to do things that others like us find quite easy to do. They are learners who may turn to us for assistance. Beginning the right attitude, one of compassion, not pity nor ridicule, will make us more effective teachers, one with a hand and heart who can facilitate their learnings and adjustments. This is the end of the discussion. Thank you, and may the Almighty God bless us all.